In this video, I'm going to show you step by step on how to drain and refill your transmission fluid. Now this should work for 2005 to 2009 Chevrolet Equinox, Pontiac Torrent, and some Saturn Views. Now you need to note that this is a 3.4 liter V6 engine mated to the 5-speed transmission. So they did have some different combinations in there. Go ahead, check your owner's manual and make sure you have this exact same one. First thing we need to do is go underneath the car and we need to remove a motor mount. And that's going to give us a lot more easy access to the transmission dipstick and fill hole. All right, so for reference, we have the oil filter right here. We have the starter right here. And now this is the mount we need to remove. You have a bolt here, and one right up there. And then you also have one right here. Now these three here are 15 millimeter. This is a 18 millimeter. Go ahead and remove all of those bolts. You do not need to put a jack under the engine. You can remove this mount without the engine moving at all. So no need to block up the engine. You can remove the mount. You can either push it all the way forward to give you more access, or you kind of rotate it up and out to remove it. And then the dipstick is going to be right back here. So let's go ahead and get this mount off. Here are the 4 bolts I've taken out. I just put a little bit of rust penetrant on them to help them go in and out a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket. The bracket, so go ahead and remove it. And then as you can see, right there is the transmission dipstick. And there is another bolt on top of that dipstick that we need to remove next. So to remove that bolt, you need a 12 millimeter socket to get that out of the way. And then just carefully lift out your dipstick. Before you go to pull the drain plug, you're going to absolutely make sure that you can get your transmission fluid back into your transmission. Otherwise you'll be stuck. So I have a transmission fluid funnel. I have it zip tied right there. And then since that's way down in there, I use some clear vinyl tubing on the end of the transmission funnel. I'll show you what that looks like. And then underneath, I'm going to put the tubing inside the transmission dipstick hole. So the tubing that actually fits really well is this 1/2 inch ID, 3/4 inch OD clear vinyl tubing. If you see right there, my vinyl tubing is coming down right into the hole. So I know for sure I can get this refilled. Now we can go ahead and drain it. Now this is my bucket I use only for transmission fluid, and it's graduated. As you can see, it's all the way up to 10 quarts. Because I always like to know how much fluid is coming out, even if it's the wrong quantity, or maybe, you know, the last person didn't put enough in, maybe they overfilled it. I still like to know as a reference. So this is going to tell me exactly how much comes out. All right, now that we have everything set, we know we can refill it. Now it's time to drain. And right here is the drain plug. There's not a lot of clearance in here to get a socket, so the easiest thing to do is use a crescent wrench. Go ahead and spin this out, let it empty into our bucket. Now's a good time to inspect your drain plug. This one is completely clean. As you can see, the fluid is still pretty pink. And I can tell that someone has changed this fluid before. All right, so it's still just barely draining. But as you can see, it's about 4.2, 4.3 quarts. I'm going to be using its Valvoline Full Synthetic Max Life. If you want to look at the back, it's going to tell you all of the different transmissions that it's approved for. I've got the drain plug back in. I've double checked that my filler line right there is still in the fill hole. And we're going to slowly add some trans fluid. Come down here and just double check that your hose doesn't pop out. You don't just want to dump this stuff in here really quick. You have to fill this kind of slow. But just double check that your hose doesn't pop out. I'm going to let the funnel and tube sit in there just for about 10 more minutes just to get any of the residual fluid out. I removed my funnel and the tubing, and in case you're wondering, the tubing is about 21 inches long. Now at this point, I'm going to put the dipstick back in. We're going to start the car. We're going to shift it through all the gears. We're not going to drive it yet. We're just going to shift it through all the gears, and then we're going to go ahead and check the level. So now what we want to do, keep your foot on the brake, put it in reverse, and you're just going to let it set for about 10 seconds. Then go to neutral, wait another 10 seconds, go to drive, wait another 10 seconds, go all the way down to low, and do the same thing all the way back up to park. Now that that's done, let the car sit for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to check the fluid level. And in this car, I always check it cold. There is a cold indicator and a hot indicator, but there's so many moving parts, and this gets really hot up here towards the front. I only check this car in the cold. So we'll go ahead and pull a dipstick out and check our level. And as you can see, our fluid level is perfect. So we'll go ahead and put the dipstick back in and put the screw back in the top of the dipstick. Stick is back in and that bolt is screwed down nice and tight. Now we need to put that motor mount back in. And you got to kind of finagle that back up in there. You got to kind of put it up at an angle and then kind of turn it in. If you've never done this before, it takes just a little bit of finagling to get that all lined back up. As I have that bracket back on, I just recommend tightening up this single one right here, this rubber mount bolt first, and then go ahead and tighten up those three last. Just seems to line up a little better that way. That's all there is to it, guys. If you've never done this before, give yourself about an hour. Yeah, it is a little more time consuming than other vehicles, but it's not much more difficult. Now for the first 15 minutes of driving, I recommend you keep it under 40 miles an hour. Maybe drive around a subdivision or a park, keep it under 40 for about the first 15 minutes. That allows the new fluid and the old fluid to kind of marry together and everything to get coated well inside. Hope you guys enjoyed this step-by-step video. I'll put a link in the description below how to buy this trans fluid off Amazon, have it show up at your doorstep in 1 to 2 days. Thanks for watching.